Hey folks, Martin Francham here from the Iron Cabaret and Cabaret Nova. I'm one of the producers on both of those shows, and one of the questions that comes up very often to us from new performers, as well as other people just generally in the industry, is how do I know if I am being paid fairly? And that's a very, very good question. So there's a couple of different models that are out there. And admittedly, we have different models within our organization. The Iron Cabaret uses a different financial model than we do for Cabaret Nova. It allows us to hit different areas and cater to different performers. So the first way is you have a fixed cost for your day. You're going to be on site for a certain number of hours and you're going to receive X payment for that time. Generally, it's pretty cut and dry. So you're going to be there from 6 o'clock to whenever the show finishes, or 5 o'clock to whenever the show finishes. For us, our general call time is 5:30. And whenever the show finishes, you're done, you do your final bow, you get paid a fixed amount of money for that time. If there's a bonus, that is known in your contract, you should know exactly how that goes. As well as if there's any days you have to come in, do tech, do rehearsals, all of that should be in your contract. The other way of looking at this is dollars per hour. So, how much am I being paid per hour? Is that $15? Is that $20? Is that $50? And that's a totally fair and valid way of looking at it. You're just going to be in a different style of show category than a fixed rate show. And then the other way to look at this is doing jobs for exposure, or sometimes a naughty word, volunteer. That is also totally valid. And if you're somebody who's doing shows for those reasons, there's no shame on that. And no shade thrown on that. So it's important to understand that every method is valid, and they also cater to different style performers. So what works for somebody may not work for somebody else. So a better way of asking the question of am I being paid correctly or what should I do is look at what we would call the opportunity cost. An opportunity cost breaks down into a couple of different areas that we're going to dive into, but essentially it covers a fairly broad spectrum. And if something meets your correct opportunity cost, then go ahead and do it. No reason why you shouldn't. But if it doesn't meet your right opportunity cost, then maybe not the right show for you to be participating in. So the three categories to opportunity cost, as we see them, is there is financial opportunity cost, there is emotional opportunity cost, and then there is exposure opportunity cost. And it's really important that you as a performer understand which of those three you're fitting in, and that'll help you determine if you're doing the right thing by yourself. And we say by yourself because remember, this works differently for different people. So first, let's talk financial opportunity cost. You have two basic models. You can do a fixed rate where you're paid, again, fixed amount per day, or you can do cost per hour where you're paid on an hourly basis, or that's how you look at your time. Whether it's fixed or not, you as a performer say, okay, I have to be on site for X number of hours. My time is worth $20 an hour, $50 an hour. If it doesn't meet those minimums, I'm not doing the job. Fixed rate is, hey, I'm there for the day, or I'm there for the duration. I'm going to be paid more money. Both, again, very, very valid ways of doing this. Now, where that works differently is we do fixed rate with the Iron Cabaret. You know exactly what you're getting, and why that works for a lot of our performers is they are people that have the number one resource that you should be measuring this by is not actually money, it's time. If you have time on your hands, fixed rate suddenly becomes really, really viable. So let's say, do you have a booking on a Thursday night, a Friday night, a Saturday night? And we do 2-week runs. So, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. If you don't have, let's say, 5 bookings lined up on a 2-week basis, all of a sudden being paid on that nightly basis, even though it might be a lower cost per hour, actually is a way better incentive. Because you had 1 gig lined up previously, your maximum earnings that you were going to make in that 2 week period, $100, $200. Hey, Iron Cabaret is paying you, our base rate is between $100, $120 a show. There's a $100 bonus thrown on there. You could make anywhere from $500 up to $950 based on some of our bonus structure. We do a slightly lower bonus for our first night just because we give a bunch of the tickets away to media and so on. All in your contracts if you work for us. From there, that's really lucrative for a certain style of performer because they were unable to fit that boat. There is also, looking at this from a cost per hour performer. If your maximum amount of time is already booked, and we do this a lot on Nova, and a lot of people who work for us on Nova look at it in this manner, is they don't have the time commitment that they can give for 2 weeks. They have a time commitment that they can give for 1 night, 3 hours. All of a sudden, maximizing what you're being paid per hour becomes a really valid strategy because you don't have a lot of time. So maximizing that dollar per hour figure makes a lot more sense because you are never going to pick up those other jobs. That fixed rate of being able to do 5 days never really mattered to you anyway because you weren't able to do it. Again, this applies to a lot of our performers who are doctors, nurses, on shift work. If they had to take 2 weeks vacation, that's a huge loss to them. Being able to come out for 1 night, a huge win. So different models cater to different people. If you can't commit to that larger block of time, then probably measuring yourself in a dollars per hour way makes a lot more sense. If you can commit to a block of time and you weren't earning money on those nights anyway, all of a sudden, fixed rate can be a huge windfall for you. So understanding, take a look at what you would have made during that period. So whatever your available time period is, take a look at that, look at your maximum earnings. If the show either equals that or exceeds that, it's probably a pretty good deal for you. If, it doesn't probably, fit in your boat unless it's scratching another itch, which is what we'll jump into with emotional opportunity cost. So let's talk about emotional opportunity cost, because money isn't everything. And a really good example of this is we are very fortunate that we have some of the most incredible performers and aerialists and pole dancers in this country that come and work for us. And one of the big motivators is not money. And that is because many of them are sex workers. And when they first started applying to our show, I called all of them. And I said, hey, do you understand we're a small art show? And this is a conversation I had with Brie Vibes. She won Miss Nude Miss Nude Canada. She's an incredible performer. She applied to be in our show. I called her and I said, hey, Brie, I'm honored, but do you know that we're an art show? There's no way we can pay you more than what you're going to make in the club in a night. Like, working for us is an absolute negative on your bank account. That's just the reality of where we are. And it was actually Brie who woke me up to some of these things, as well as another stripper named Viper. And Brie said, yeah, but this is an act that I can put on, that I can be proud, and I can show my family. And they're never going to come see me in a club. They're never going to come see one of my featured shows. But this is something I can show them that shows them I'm a real athlete and I'm a real performer. And that means a lot to me. Viper, when she came to us, again, I had the same conversation. I said, Viper, you're going to make way more money working in the club. Like, this is a net negative working for us. I'm not even gonna pretend to lie about that. And Viper said, yeah, but I'm not able to play the music I want to play at the club. I'm a performer. I put on featured shows. I, get up. I'm working with people every single night, but it's never to what I want to do. It's always to what the club wants. So for me to be able to bring my artistic vision on the stage, that's worth me taking a couple nights off work to bring this vision to fruition. And that was a huge, wake-up call for us that, yeah, there are a lot of people who apply to be in shows, and again, if you measured it in dollars and cents, there's no reason why certain people should work for our show. They lose money working with either Cabaret Nova or the Iron Cabaret. However, they're there because they can invite family to the audience for maybe the first time to see a sexy show without it being carrying the stigma of a strip club. And if that barrier is able to be broken, then maybe others can be broken down the road, and we work as kind of an introductory gateway to them. And so being able to fit that niche, that really scratches a lot of that emotional opportunity cost that previously wasn't there. And that brings us to our final piece of opportunity cost, and that is exposure or volunteer opportunity cost. And this can sometimes carry some negative connotations, especially with volunteering. Are you just doing unpaid labor so somebody else can make money? Personally, we're very against that at the Iron Cabaret, Cabaret Nova. We want to make sure people are getting paid fairly. And then as well, there's, it's always been said, like, exposure doesn't pay any bills and doesn't feed me. So, yes, these are valid things to do, but you want to make sure you're doing them for the right reasons. And again, is that scratching the opportunity cost you need? And so, for an example of this is sometimes you need to do it just to bring some good into the world. We do this. One thing that comes to mind is Cabaret Nova with the show that we did, Cutthroat Circus for Cats. Every single performer, myself, all of the staff that night donated their time. We raised $3,000 for Ottawa Stray Cats. It was an enormous good thing that came out of Ottawa Stray Cats, and people donating their time and being volunteers. We feel very comfortable talking about that because everybody was a volunteer from ground up. We did some good work. There's also volunteering. Sometimes you're just going to do that to help a friend get off the ground, make sure that they can help with the production. Sometimes costs get away from producers, and there's definitely realm in order to help that out. So, we've helped out a couple of other promotions just around town. We've loaned them gear. We haven't charged them for something. For instance, our friends Mona Moore, Cushy Tushy, Abella, BJ Stroker, put together a production company that did a Disney show. We loaned them our tub. We loaned them a stage pole. We didn't charge them anything for that. I will say at the end of the day, BJ Stroker did come up to me, did push some money into my hand, but that was not part of our agreement. We had said that was theirs to do from, the ground up, and came around, helped, did some of the stage ending, because that was good to do within the community. And feel very good about doing those things to help elevate people within the community. The other side of this is exposure. Sometimes you need to get in front of people to elevate your brand. And that means you're going to do things at a lower rate if it is deemed to support your greater values that you're bringing on board. So, for instance, we've worked a lot of gig work where it is simply we want to get the Iron Cabaret banner in front of eyeballs. And we know they're not the most lucrative shows. We could maybe ask for more money, but that's not what those events are about for us. They're about making sure that we get as many people as we can seeing our brand, and then normally we're doing this in conjunction with tickets on sale, so people see us, they see what we can deliver, they get a little taste, and then there's a path later on for them to buy tickets, and hopefully we're able to convert that into some revenue for all of our performers. So working on that side for some exposure, not the end of the world for our performers, for ourselves. It's supporting a bigger goal. Where working for exposure gets you into trouble is, hey, I'm doing something, I'm working for exposure, and it doesn't support any of your goals as an artist, as a performer. You just ended up working for less money, and it wasn't a stepping stone to anywhere else. You didn't have any options that are coming out of that. So, yeah, that's not good, doing it that way. So make sure if you are working and you are valuing a job based on this exposure volunteer opportunity cost, make sure that you have something that's coming out of that at the end of the day. It will do you a lot of good. And like I say, sometimes there's times you just want to go out and you just want to help the community. It's not about the money. We do that all the time. So don't be shy about doing those things. Now that covers kind of our 3 core layers of opportunity cost: financial, emotional, and exposure, and volunteer. When you're looking at a job, look at where you fit in each one of these categories and then say, okay, yes, I am doing this job because it is scratching my emotional itch. Nope, I wanted to do financial, and in financial, I'm working with a certain model because that's what allows me to maximize my income. No, I'm doing this because actually what I want to do is I'm trying to get in front of a certain producer. I want to get my name out. I want to get a video because this, show offers me a video package, photo package, whatever it is. I'm willing to take a lower rate in order to get those photos so that I can use them to promote myself later on. Cool. All very, very valid reasons. The important thing to remember is you will have different opportunity costs on different jobs, and that'll change over the course of your career. It also means that different people will have different opportunity costs. And don't look at somebody and say, why are they doing this thing? It's not good. Look at them instead and say, hey, they're probably hitting XYZ opportunity cost. And so when we're promoting our shows, for instance, the Iron Cabaret, we very much promote, hey, we have no volunteer labor. Hey, look at the amount of money you can earn over 2 weeks working with us. We're appealing to people that have a certain opportunity cost model. When we're doing Nova, we're saying, hey, it's the most innovative cabaret in town. We're always going to be trying some weird, strange idea. We don't know how well it's going to hit. We want people to be able to go in there and say, maybe that's going to hit that emotional opportunity cost that goes along with it. Maybe that's going to hit that exposure where you're going to come out, you're going to get some great show photos, you're going to get practice performing in front of 140 people. All of those models make sense too. And so how we promote each individual show will actually vary, where we'll promote the Iron Cabaret one way, we'll promote Cabaret Nova on another way, and maybe in the new year we'll have a third promotion that's coming out, and we'll have another opportunity model that we can work with people in the city. So just make sure you understand what you're doing, and as long as you do, you'll be a happy performer and you'll be getting satisfaction out of doing your roles. So I hope this helps answer how you should be evaluating whether you're being compensated fairly for your time.